client operators. So that's one of the challenges that we faced, or I have faced, and other people who are in the food business have faced with taking on technology into their businesses.
Okay, thank you for that. I am glad that you touched on the topic of cost inflation, because it brings me to my next question. I mean, you have had to deal with, having to navigate the cost and what the price of trying to adopt technology into your business, right? And it can be discouraging to many small businesses, the price, what it costs, right? But like, what have you done? And I'll also direct this question to Blessing, because I'm sure she deals with a lot of businesses who don't want to pay this, don't want to pay so much to handle certain things. Or what have you done as a business owner to get past just worrying about the cost and just dealing with what you have to deal with to get to where you are today?
For me, I think that there are certain things, like, at the beginning we asked the question, is technology important? I think you need to get beyond that point where you see the cost as a barrier. So even your mindset, there's some things that are necessary to doing business. So for me, I stopped looking beyond the finances to see that what's the benefit for me. I had to get over that mindset of, this is not a cost that you should debate on. This is a cost that is necessary to your success. And it's not something you negotiate. So it starts with even getting people to understand the importance, the ability, the opportunities that it's open for you. So for me, I first of all just looked beyond the cost. I looked beyond whatever implications and had to start budgeting it for my operations. So if I wanted to exist as a business, this has to be part of my fundamental cost. Another thing I did was to seek knowledge, knowledge in terms of go to who can teach me the basics that I can use to operate at a minimal level or at a level that's affordable for me. So who can I meet? What courses can I take? What consultants can I hire that's affordable or can give me a plan that I can afford? So I had to get knowledge in a way that it doesn't like, so for example, some people would say, in standard offices or standard environments in a business, you would have an IT person, for example. You cannot afford it when you're starting up as a business. So what can you do? You would learn the basic IT things that you need to do to operate the business at the back end and in front end, whatever. So what I did was find that knowledge from whoever could give it to me at a price that I could afford, so that I could run that part of my business until my business can afford to hire a staff for that. So that was the second thing I did, to bridge that knowledge gap. Third thing I did was to start using technology to reach more people and see what benefits it's giving me, so that I can preach that message to other people in my community. So the easiest technology tool that I have used is social media, the social media platforms that we use. So I have used social media and other tools, but I've used it to be able to reach more clients. And in doing that, I've shared my results with other food business owners, to see the results, so that they too can imbibe the use of the basic social media tools in growing their businesses. I can't hear you. I don't know if it's just me.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay, yeah. So thank you so much for that. But I quickly want to talk to Blessing for a bit. I'm sure you deal with a lot of businesses and clients who may have to pay. This is me assuming based on what you do for a living. We have to deal with clients who are reluctant to pay certain sums to to do certain things that you advise them to do, maybe in PR or in online PR and all that stuff. How do you get them, or how do you convince them otherwise?
Okay, thank you, Jarade. So, like Mr. Meza said, if you want to actually grow your business, you have to put aside the cost. I mean, it's possible that as a startup, it stresses you because it's expensive or because you think it's expensive, but it's a mind thing, right? You can, I was going to say, if any business can succeed, but if you want to succeed without, any business can succeed without technology, as a matter of fact. But of course, you're limited. the chances with technology are massive. So if you choose to not go the technology route, that's okay. I mean, it's not, you can force a horse to the stream, but you can't force it to drink, as a matter of fact. So when I encounter businesses that say, oh, it's too expensive, or I can't do this and I can't do that, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I will trust that you cannot do it at this time. When you can afford to spend some money on marketing, then let me know. Because the truth is, whether we like it or not, you have to spend money. I mean, this is the age of technology and technological adoptions. And if you choose to not run with the, not go with the flow at this point, then you're going to be doing yourself a lot of disservice. However, I offer alternative options. I offer affordable options, and then options as cheap as social media, right? But because, again, with social media, so I mean, anybody can have an Instagram page, anybody can have a Facebook page, can have a LinkedIn account. Those platforms are essentially free. But of course, your reach is limited if you decide to just focus on what I'm posting and that's it. But the moment that you decide to say, beyond what I'm posting, some more people need to see what I'm doing, let me spend some money on sponsored ads, then you increase your reach. Because even with having 1,000 followers, for instance, your reach is still limited even with 1,000 followers. Because I mean, there's the algorithm that is constantly being tweaked, and of course, the people that own these businesses also want to make money from their platforms. So they will do everything to make sure that you are not getting the most without actually spending some money. So at what point are you really not going to spend money? But then I said I offer alternative options. Social media is a cheap option. You can do it for as long as you can grow your platforms organically for as long as possible until you can afford to spend some money on marketing. Email marketing is another option. You can build an email list. Of course, you have to be ready to give something. And by giving something, nobody's just going to give you their email address for free, right? You have to give them something. So with food business, for instance, I know that a lot of people that do food business will just deliver your food and that's it. I mean, they collect your phone number, you place an order, they collect your phone number, they call you for delivery, and then that's it, right? And there's no follow-up conversations. But with a business like food business, you can ask the person for their email address. And after then, so this is what we have on the menu for next week. I mean, send them an email newsletter. This is what we have on the menu for next week. In the next 1 month, this is what we are bringing for Ramadan, for Christmas, for these different things. And then with that, it's still low budget. It's still affordable. You can build on that. Still, you're able to say, okay, now I'm ready to spend money on marketing, or spend at least really good money on marketing. The truth is, it's possible to say, I want to just pretend like this, I'm not going to spend any money. It's very possible. And it's possible to pretend actually like you're not going to spend any money, but then your results will definitely be limited. There's only so much you can do without spending some money. And I advise every client I come in contact with, put aside some money for marketing, put aside some money for sponsored posts, for email newsletters, for attending events, for what now? Everything possible. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of possibilities. Don't limit yourself by not wanting to spend money.
Thank you for that. So basically, what I'm getting is you have to spend money to make money, right?
Yes.
So you wanted to say something, Zamenze? Okay. So, Dr. Daring, I mean, maybe share with us, like, how did you begin your own digital transformation journey, and how would you advise other SMEs that are present here, businesses that are present here, to start their own journey?
Okay. Well, I think I have a bit of an interesting story. I have an entertainment background, and because of that, I've always had to maintain a visible social media presence. And this has been going back possibly a couple of years, definitely since the days of High Five and, of course, when Facebook started. So maintaining that social media presence, it's been a crash course. And I think being an entertainer or a DJ in particular would is I would say is a one-man business, for lack of words. So it's the ultimate SME. You pretty much have to do everything yourself. And especially during that transition. So you have a space where people are still trying to discover about Facebook and all these different platforms. And then the power of it is just growing. And those that were, I guess, futuristic enough to see the value in it, invested in it, and people like myself. So I've always been a tech person. I've always liked these kind of things, and I've always seen the power, the ability to communicate with people all over the world, especially the idea that you don't have to have a middleman. You can, if you compose your messages right, if you compose your, if you get your copywriting properly done, you can literally reach anyone. And that idea was very empowering for me, and it's something that I've leveraged on. Moving from that to the financial advisory and the coaching that we offer, being able to reach all these people, it can be daunting in terms of all the different hurdles you have to face, especially when it comes to marketing, building a sales funnel, email list, putting all that together. It can be quite daunting. But I think I would advise, which is what I used in the power of step by step, right? So there is a lot of free information out there. I think anyone can ever complain about not knowing, because there's free information out there. You just have to spend time, dedicate the right resources to learning about all these different platforms. And then when you do find out, it would even present a situation where you would know where you reached a point where you actually have to get a professional, because you can't do your job better than a professional. There's a reason why they're a professional, especially if they have the right experience, have the right background, which are things you have to verify, because there might be some people that might convince you otherwise. But you have to ensure that it's the right person who can actually deliver. And social media and technology in general, is very easy to find out if the person's successful. They started from point A, can they get you to point B? And you're most likely dealing with numbers, if not numbers, brand perception, brand awareness. So these are all things that you can measure and be exact about. But I just like to emphasize that you should start where you are. Seek some information out there. Google has a lot of courses that they offer on digital skills, and so many different platforms. These are free available tools that you can use to start where you are. Once again, like I said at the beginning, it's not an option. Don't get left behind even further. Start where you are, build yourself to a point where you can actually afford to get a professional, bring them on board, and make sure they're accountable, make sure you're very clear. Of course, this has to do with a lot of self-reflection. You have to know where you're going, because you can't expect someone to take you where you don't even know where you want to go. So you have to do a lot of self-reflection and decide as a business where you want to go to and what technology would help you. And then when you have decided, you can then learn about it and then get a professional. So that's the step I would advise.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Guys, remember that you can drop your questions in the chat box so that we can direct them to speakers. So, Ms. Amezi, you share your own digital, how you started your own social media journey, your digital transformation journey. But very quickly, Mr. Wale, at what point would you say that every business should know that digital transformation matters? At what point can they, just wing it, and then it's like, no more winging it. Now it's time to focus, and now it's time to, get things done digitally or with technology. Mr. Wale with us?
Oh, sorry, I was mute.
Okay.
Yes. So I said I will answer the question based on our experience at Vendis. So when we started, so first of all the 4 founders are digital natives. So so digital is embedded, technology is embedded in everything that we do, even before we started Vendis. So it was clear that we would leverage technology, in Vendis, but it's just a matter of how the scale or the extent. So when we started, we started very small in terms of, as simple as start and having an online presence. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
you can.
So we started as simple as having an online presence, getting the narrative and the value proposition online, for prospective customers to see and to be able to say, hey, let us have a conversation with you. And then, of course, also in terms of what is the customer journey going to be like in a very simple way, because you've identified a problem, you want to solve it. How best can you solve it? And, in a very simple way. We try to be very, very simple. And of course, we have various technology options out there when we were about to start. And it's a case of which of them among all the various best in class that we can choose from. And then, of course, we also understand the buying pattern, the behavioral pattern of the average business owner in Nigeria. Everybody is busy. Nobody really wants to get bogged down with technology, or they don't necessarily want a company that wants to force technology down their throat, because they are trying to make a case for the adoption of technology. So what we did was to make the customer journey to be as simple and as basic as possible. So you come on the platform, you just register, and when you register, you're just putting in basic information, like in 2 steps. Provide your, provide your company name, phone number, email, and then when you submit that, we activate you. And then when we activate you, you see all the SKUs that we have, and then you can point and click, and then you get your order. And then, we wait for you, we remind you through phone call, through SMS, and through email, if you are the type that have email. If you don't have email, it's fine. We don't ask you for email if you don't have email. Do you understand? So we make it simple. Even we take orders from WhatsApp, because we realize that people want to interact with you. They want to have, yes, technology is there, but you also want to have the human face, so they want to interact with you as much as possible. So I would say that you start small as a business, because it's not, you must not start very big, like maybe you are seeing a competition in big companies and you think that you need to match up with what they currently have. We didn't start like that. We started very small, and then we gradually scale, especially as your customer base grows. There is a lot, business is art, and at the end, is also science, is scientific. So as you grow, you can determine what you want, how you want it. And as you scale, you know that you have to also scale up, because you will know, it will tell you on your operations, that you really need to scale, whether you scale the technology or you scale the human resources. And there will be pointers to that, there will be various pointers to that, that you would know at that time. So it's just a case of knowing, acknowledging those pointers, and also being proactive about them. And when we started Advendis, we know that in food business value chain, there are things that we know, there are things that we don't know, and there are things that we know that we do not know about this. And we are leveraging technology to bring all of these things, into perspective. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Very insightful.
Yes.
I'll get to Mr. Menti very shortly, but Blessing, are you with everything that Mr. Wale has just shared? At what stage in the business do you think that digital adoption matters?
Yes, absolutely. I agree with everything he said. And it's important to start small. At what stage does digital adoption matter? I believe strongly that you will know, right? If you have money to start big, then that's a big risk, because you don't want to spend all your money starting big because you think I have to be there. Everybody needs to know I'm there. What if it flops? What if it backs up, right? But if you start small, you're able to grow. You're able to look at your revenue. You're able to pay attention to the patterns that exist in your business. And then at some point, you know that you need to scale. And then when you know that you need to scale, then it's time to increase your marketing cost, increase your budget, increase your technological adoption. So if, for instance, you were selling clothes, right? I go to the market, I buy clothes, and then I put it in my booth and I move around. And people, I mean, I go from office to office and people actually like what I sell. They patronize me. I know that, okay, so, I mean, with selling clothes, you get to a point where people say, oh, you don't have this, I actually want this. And then it begins to increase your SKUs, right? You come back, you have those phone numbers. Okay, I'll go to the market. When I get to the market, I will send pictures of what's available to you so that you can know if this is what you want, right? You go to the markets and then you have pictures, you put all the pictures, that's another level. So you have gone from just going to their offices to now taking pictures of the item and sharing the pictures with your customers. So if you decide to start on WhatsApp first, because I mean, WhatsApp is very quick. You start on WhatsApp first and you realize that, okay, I'm at the point where I'm getting overwhelmed with my WhatsApp orders. I need to automate my process. Then you can say, okay, let me go to a platform. There are different e-commerce platforms. There are different payment gateways that also support, that also have the storefront feature, right? You can upload your items there and say, okay, I now have stuff on this platform. I mean, that's another level of the technological adoption. So instead of reaching out to me or instead of sending me a WhatsApp message, just click on this link and check out my storefront. And it reduces your human interaction. Of course, I mean, it's a human being that's still going to the market and doing all of the work, but it reduces your everyday interaction. The person can just go on the mini website, place an order for their item, include the delivery details, and then get it delivered to them. I mean, you receive the notification as a business owner. So and so person has ordered for XYZ number of items, and then it's your job to now deliver to them, right? You also get to the point where you realize, okay, this using this platform is not using this platform or mini site is no longer good for me. I think I'm at the point where I need to own my own platform. I need to own my own website. Then that's another level. So there are different levels to the digital adoption thing, right? You just need to know, first of all, there are possibilities. It's not just brick and mortar. I can do more with technology, right? So at each point, know what is next, know that the options are not limited to one spot, they're not limited to one point, and you can always do better. And of course, when in doubt, reach out to people that have done similar stuff and ask questions.
Never be too proud to ask questions when you don't know. I love that. But Ms. Amenze, I mean, maybe tell us a little bit about how you started your journey, how it all began when you realized that technology was the way to go and technology was going to help you boost your business and boost your following.
Okay, for me, it was a case of chance or just opportunity. I was operating my food business totally offline. And one time I saw an ad for a training on digital, how to digitalize your business. Basically, it was organized by Faith Foundation at that time. So there they exposed us to the opportunities that exist online if you take your business online. I was practically offline. So after the training, I said, let me implement some of what I had learned. And I went to some of the social media platforms that we were taught. And I started doing business online, like showcasing my business online. And then I saw that, you begin to see begin to get response, and then you realize that you are now capturing a market that you did not initially think about. Before technology became very important in our daily lives, the typical way of doing business was brick and mortar, have a shop. So it's either you move from starting in your house, then you aspire to get to where you own your own physical space and then hope that customers will walk in and buy from you. But going online to something as basic as our social media platforms, those customers that go into brick and mortar businesses can also come to you online. And so that exposed me to the opportunities that these customers are also going to brick and mortar shops also are online, and you can reach them. So you don't necessarily even have to incur the same costs that brick and mortar businesses operate, but you can be making money selling what you sell to people who are spending time online. You just need to know if your products are what the people who spend most of their time online would be interested in. And that was how I got into I got sucked into the opportunities that exist online with doing business, even as basic as social media. There are other levels to it that I probably have not explored, like in other like in countries outside Nigeria. Most times if you want to buy from businesses, you just go to their website, you buy, not just necessarily even waiting for contacting them through their DM on Instagram or all of that. That's another level that I want to get on, but I haven't been able to get on because, again, there's the cost of technology. Running a website that is that savvy, that is that functional, has its price. And that's where I want to get to next, where people can, so I want to own my own platform. I don't want to compare it to other social media platforms, but basically I want to own a method where people get to me, which is my website, like what is common in other countries. So that's how I got into using technology to grow my food business. It's almost the same it's almost the same practice that I used to grow the coaching and mentoring service that I do for food business owners. So it was simply like, if I wanted to do a training, for example, in previous times, when you do a training, you'll be thinking of getting a hall, putting together different things. But when I started, what I started doing, I just started putting out content that was relevant to the kind of people that I wanted to speak to, which were food business owners. And as I started posting content on the page, more food business owners started gravitating towards the page and started soaking up the content. And before you knew it, I had people, like I was reaching people in countries that a brick and mortar would never have reached. I had people following me from all states in Nigeria, from Ghana, and so that showed me again that that's the power of technology. Technology allows you to reach, allows you to scale, allows you to have impact that a brick and mortar business would not have. And that was how also I grew the work that I do, coaching and mentoring small businesses in the food industry.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Like, I'm glad you mentioned stuff about content. I'm a content person myself, and I think that a lot of people really overlook the value of their messaging and the value of the content that they put out there. On its own, of course, you have to spend money, but on its own, I think naturally to draw your target market into what you are doing and what you're about. But Dr. Derry, you talked about how you started with entertainment and you've been, you started your own social media journey from like days of high five. That was a long time ago. I don't even remember it much. But can you like talk a little bit more about that particular journey? And how did you grow your social media platforms, all that stuff?
I think the biggest lesson I learned from that experience was definitely knowing where you're heading, being very precise about what success means to you. At some point in time, success meant having a lot of numbers, but then I realized having a lot of numbers doesn't equal money. You can have a lot of numbers, decent engagement, and then no one is actually buying your products or coming through. So you need to have the right amount of people. And it took me a long time to come to this conclusion. And I'm hoping a lot of people would have saved a lot of time by hearing this. It's good to focus on numbers, but it's better to focus on your target markets. There are people out there that are meant to buy your products. There are people out there that are your customers. So the earlier you realize who they are and target them specifically, like Mrs. Abenza was saying, delivering value to them in particular, knowing that, because if you start speaking their language, you're going to attract them. And when you attract them, it's easier for you to sell to them, which is the reason why we're in business most of the time. So that took me a long time to realize that I have a lot of people that are just following me because, they just want to follow, they're not going to translate into actual figures. So that is something I advise everyone to do and, try and think ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for that, sir. So, Blessing, your expertise in online PR. What has in the technology for businesses, especially ones that are just budding or coming up?
Sorry, I think I missed your question.
I said, as an expert in online PR and the execution of that, I said, explain the role of online PR in the adoption of technology for businesses, especially budding entrepreneurs and small businesses.
Okay, so PR is just about getting more people to know about your business, right? However you choose to do it, with either online or offline, it's just about getting awareness for your business. So, I mean, with using digital platforms and online platforms, you're just getting more people to, I mean, collaborations are a great way to get more people to know about your business. Collaborations with people in the same industry, of course. Attending events where people in your industry are also speaking is a great way to get people to know about your business. Emails. I preach the gospel of email marketing a lot, because email marketing is a way to keep people interested in what you're doing. Can you hear me? Sorry, I can't see.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
okay. Email marketing is a great way to get people aware of what's going on in your business at any point in time, right? Once you have an email list, you're sending them messages. You're sending them what now? You're sending them congratulatory messages or happy birthday messages. You're telling them, oh, we have now moved our office from this point to the other point. You're telling them, oh, we have raised funds for our business. You're telling them it's like your own news platform. So I say to people, you don't necessarily have to. I mean, everybody wants to be on the front page of the newspaper. Everybody's wants their reports to be the first thing that you read when you wake up in the morning, and that's a good place to be. I mean, it's great to aim for, but the truth is, you have a blog, you have a social media platform, you have a website, you have your own platforms, and the first way to do PR is by starting with what you have. So there are different PR platforms. There's the own channel, there's the earned channel, there's paid channel. There are different channels, right? If you cannot afford to spend good money on PR, that's okay. You can just spend your time to create content, or get somebody on your team to help you write the story in a way that is appealing to your audience. Put it on your website, put it on your social media platforms, send it via email to your customers. I mean, it's a lot cheaper, it's more cost effective, but it still carries your message. Sit down, and there's the YouTube channels, right? A YouTube channel is like your own TV. You can sit down and create content for your own YouTube channel, and then somebody you're not sure who will stumble on it and then say, oh, I'm interested in this business, right? YouTube channel is also an adoption of technology, right? Use it to get people to know about what you do, and then they can reach out to say, oh, I saw this and I saw that, and I'm interested in what you're doing. So it's just, online PR is basically using every digital platform within your disposal to reach your target audience. And then as long as you're taking advantage of it, you're doing a great job, right? At some point, you may need to now spend some money to push it. You may need to spend some money to get extra. You may need to spend some money to get on bigger platforms, but then you have to still start where you are. Start with the free resources that are available and make the most of it.
Thank you so much for that, Blessing. But still on the topic of email marketing and using emails, because I mean it's basically free. I mean, I have to admit that we live in an economy or in a space where opening emails can be, or getting people to open your emails can be very tricky. I mean, even speaking for myself, if it's not a work email, if it's not something I'm expecting, I hardly ever, it's bad, I know, but I hardly ever open my email. So like, how would you advise that businesses find a way to get more people to open their email messaging whenever they try that?
Okay, so I'll give you an example. I received an email from one online coach, and the email said credit alert. And then it had the star, 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 and then some numbers at the end of it. So it seemed like credit alert, what's going on? I mean, it didn't come from my bank. I saw it from this person and I'm like, why am I receiving a credit alert from you? And of course I opened it, right? And the person wanted to pass a message across, but with credit alert, you already got my attention. So with email marketing, even I am guilty of not opening all of my emails. I mean, I have over, let me not say the number, but I have a lot of unread emails. And I know that a lot of people have very many unread emails. But how do you stand out? The way to stand out is by giving people content that is catchy enough. The subject line has to be great. The subject line has to be a banger. I mean, I see it and I'm curious and I just open it and I'm like, okay, what's this person trying to say? Right? I can now open the email and find something entirely different. It could now be a clickbait. But the first way to get my attention is to catch me at the subject. And then there is also this, there's also the explainer. There's a brief explainer. It depends on how your inbox is set. You can have the subject line and then this explainer under that gives some more information about what's in your email. So if you're doing a flash sale, for instance, you can say, get 50% off, flash sale, get 50% off your orders, limited time, offer ends in 3 days or offer ends in 3 hours. You can put that under, and then somebody that is already used to buying stuff from you and knows that you have good stuff would click it, so that because the person wants to get 50% off, definitely, and then knows that there's a time slot, there's a time deadline, right?
Create a sense of urgency.
Yeah, of course. You use that to create a sense of urgency, and then person opens it, and of course you have one email open at least. Whether they now take action is another thing. Of course, your offer has to be juicy enough to make them take action. But in the first place, your subject line has to be great to make them open it.
Okay. Thank you. So, Dr. Jerry, I mean, when you started Wavis and you started exploring, running that as a company, did you try adopting, some of the methods that Blessing has just highlighted, including, marketing?
Oh yes, I did. I've how would I say? I've gotten my fair share of rejection in letters and on unopened emails. Because of the financial advisory I do, I also offer coaching programs tailored towards financial freedom and clarity. So from time, I definitely do build sales funnels and I try and generate leads. And I've gone through that phase. Like I said earlier on, these strategies, you can look at them as tools, but it's like baking a cake or making some kind of dish. You have to know what you're making. If not, it's going to taste horrible. So if you're not meant to put sugar and you put salt there, it's going to be a disaster. So if you use email marketing in a situation where you're not targeting the right audience, what you're going to have is unopened emails or even being rejected. But I think online PR is it's very effective. It's definitely, as I said earlier on, not a matter of if you should be using it, but to what level you should be using it. I learned the hard way. I've lost money. I've lost clients, but it was all a learning process, which is why I advised earlier as well, is when you go through these things, you have to go back to the drawing board, see what you went wrong, study. There's a lot of free information out there. Try and find out what you did wrong, and then come back again. And at some point in time, get a professional, which is what I did. But I think most importantly, you have to know where you're going. I can't emphasize that more enough. And also keep up to date. There's so much happening, so many advancements with technology, so many new things that are happening. You have to constantly be educating yourself on what is going on.
Yeah, but I mean, not to shut down what you've said, but it can be really overwhelming sometimes how much options there are out there, how many people, how many solutions are being introduced into the market every single day. Well, how do you advise that a business can stay focused and stay on track, adopt the specific solution that would be right for their own business offering?
I think I would definitely go back to that. I was very confused at some point in time. Like I said, I lost money. I was using the wrong tools. But the moment I sat down to identify who my actual customer was, that was the changing moment for me. Because when I realized who my customer was, I knew that, okay, my customer would not be using emails. Or for instance, my customer would not be on Instagram. All my customers are on LinkedIn. So my language changed, the tools I was using changed, the copywriting changed, the even the way I took pictures, the kind of images I use changed completely. So I think it's important to identify who your target audience is. I think that is the most because it would even be automatic. There will be some solutions that just won't make sense because you're clear. And I think that's the tricky part. That's actually where the work is, identifying who your customer is.
Okay, I totally agree. But Mr. Wale, I mean, you have so much experience. Major, when I was reading your profile, I was honestly blown away. Major brands to optimize their offerings and all that stuff. So what tech tools or what alternative tech tools do you think are available for smaller businesses that are trying to optimize their businesses? And if any other person wants to contribute to that's also fine.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you. So for small businesses, the starting point really is, your phone is the most important tech tool that you can leverage, because you have contacts and you get contacts, you store them on a regular basis. So your phone I would say your phone is the starting point, and your phone being the starting point now, would give room to other technology adoption, like social media, for instance, is one of it. And also your website. Of course, your website, when you are thinking of creating a website, it has to be mobile responsive, meaning that it has to fit perfectly on a mobile screen and also fit perfectly on tablet screen. And today you have open source, because there is no point as a business that is just starting out to leverage license-based technology options, because open source technology, for instance, is also a technology that regularly gets updated. It's not a case of, it's not inferior, to be honest with you, to other license-based technology. So you have WordPress, you have Joomla, all those technology options for small businesses. That's another option. And then, of course, we've spoken about, we've talked about email marketing. And then also for SMS, you can do SMS blast. There are SMS platforms that you can leverage, you understand, to achieve, customer communication, customer follow-up, and feedback, and even, yes, feedback in terms of your solution offering. Then there is also new forms, free forms that you can leverage to be able to get feedback and measure, create metrics, and measure how your business is performing. You can do a survey free of charge. You don't have to pay for that with Google Form. And you see people, responding, so that you can measure the health of your business over a period of time. And I think it's the consistency in adopting some of these basic tools that really, that is where the rubber meets the road. Because you try something, you feel like you're not getting what you want from it, and then you jump on another, and then you end up getting frustrated over time. So keep it basic, keep it simple. I mean, that's what I will preach. And over time, look at your data. What is your data saying? Because evidently your data will speak over time. It will give you informative at the level that you're starting. Maybe you are not doing predictive analytics, like you are not predicting what your business will become, but even information, descriptive information that you get from all the various things, all the basic things that you are doing. How many contacts do you have on your phone, for instance? How many of them can buy your product or services? How have you been marketing to them? How do you market to them? Do you just market? What kind of value proposition? In your interaction with people, in your social media status or WhatsApp status, for instance, how are you evangelizing your business to people? Are you just talking about politics or, whatever that pique your interest? Or you are, deliberately evangelizing your business? And then I would like to touch on the PR. PR is good, but also, and I totally agree with what Blessing mentioned on PR. We also do PR in Vendis, but the way we also do PR is not the way every business would want to do PR. We have a human side, human touch to it. And what do I mean? How do I mean? You get people that have interacted with your product, with your business, you get them to be the evangelist. And it can start as small as them writing testimonials about their interaction with your business, the value it has delivered to them. And you put that as a form of validation on your website. You understand? And you can even record with iPhone. All of us, we take around, powerful phones. iPhone can deliver 1920, that is full HD video with iPhone. You can actually deliver that. And you can edit it on by yourself. You don't need a professional video editor. You have editing tools that you can buy at 5,000, per year, to be able to edit your video yourself. And if you don't want to do it, you don't know how to do it, you can go on YouTube and learn how to edit a video. It takes less than, it's less than a day to be able to achieve it if you really want to achieve it. Anyway, most of us use filter on Instagram and the like. So I'm very sure that if we really want to do
Mr. Wale,
we can do it.
Why are you exposing all of us now? I don't understand.
So sorry. So and you can get video testimonials from your customers, your first set of customers, and that's what we did with Vendis. We had we approached our customers to get, first of all, our first customers. We were able to get market fit for the solution we are trying to do, and then we were able to get them to give us testimonials to be able to, so that will convince other prospective customers to come on your platform to try out what you are offering, because they can see that somebody has tried it and is saying, he or she is saying that this is what it delivers to them. And then so beyond you talking about your business, get other people to talk about it. And trust me, you get some traction and you get footfalls to your business. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Menz, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
You're multitasking, right? So, Mr. Wale and Blessing, they've really comprehensive about tools and how to explore some technology tools to growing a business and everything. I know you mentioned earlier about trying to, or hopefully aiming towards building a proper savvy website to grow your brand, right? And you will get there. Maybe Blessing can help you out with some contact. I'm sure she has some amazing people.
And
she'll give you a discount too, right?
Yeah, so.
So, aside that, and aside social media, I know you explore social media a lot. Is there any other tools that you have used so far that you think has helped you get where you are today?
Well, I tried email marketing once. Like when who was talking about email marketing? I think the PR consultant was talking about email marketing, and I was like, yes, that's and I think the tech guy too. I tried email marketing once, but I stopped using it. I think what we need to understand as business owners, either at startup phase, is to, beyond identifying the customer, like not Mr. Wale, the other guy said, I've forgotten his name. We also need to understand that we also have limited resources. You know, first of all, you need to understand where your target market is, right? But in as much as you want to be everywhere, you also need to also reflect on what are your resources, what are the resources available. Like for me, when I started, I wanted to do email marketing, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. Then I realized that means that you're spreading yourself too thin. Like find where, understand your strength, understand what you can do now with the best that you have available. So I tried email marketing, and at that time it wasn't effective for me because I wasn't even using the tool to the best of my abilities because I was trying to spread myself thin. I know there's also opportunities for me on YouTube, for example, like the PR consultant said, that's another tool for business owners. But again, I'm also being realistic to what I can do with what I have in terms of human resources, human and even financial resources. These things cost money, either from human, that is human resource you're looking at it, or financial resource. And I can only be realistic to what I have. As I grow, then the tools I use will become more. But for now, I use only social media. And the next level I am at now is a website, like a real e-commerce website that you find elsewhere in many other countries.
I'm sure Blessing has a response, I'm guessing.
Yes, I do. Thank you. So it's important. I'm sure that I think it was Mr. Derry that mentioned it. It's important to know how to use what you have, what tools are available at your disposal. There's so that's where the work of a professional comes in. A professional understands the method to the madness. A professional understands there's a strategy, right? Doing everything actually will spread you too thin. And especially if you're working alone. I mean, if you're working alone, you're managing social media, you're replying DMs, you're sending emails, you're
running a business.
YouTube videos. I mean, it's really stressful. And it's really stressful, but it's also very important to know that I can do one thing at a time. So if, for instance, you say, I want to create one YouTube video a month, right? I create this YouTube video. Out of this YouTube video, I can repurpose the content as a matter of fact. I can get snippets from it and use for social media. I can get quotes and use it for my for social media as well. I can get email subject lines and send it to people, right? It's just, if you're working alone, it's a lot of hard work. But if you decide to say, I'm going to do this with a strategy, maybe I'll put out one YouTube video per month, send out one email newsletter per month. But of course, you have to know that whatever you're sending out, if you decide to send one email newsletter per month, you know that it has to be packed, right? It has to have a lot of important information for whoever is receiving it. I say to people, if you have something that works, there's no need abandoning it for something else that you think may work. It's okay to see these different opportunities, see these different platforms and want to use all of them because you think that you will blow. And it is very possible to blow. I mean, because blow, for lack of a better word, is very possible, but it's also important that you're not stretching yourself too thin because like Mr. Wale said, if you do everything, if you decide to jump on this and jump on that, it will get very frustrating. So there has to be a strategy. How often do I want to post? How often do I want to send emails? How often do I want to have conversations with with people on social media? It's also important to know when to take a break because I mean, there's a lot that is going on. There's a lot with personal life, there's a lot with family life, there's a lot with career, and it's important to know when to take a break. Okay, I need a break right now, but when you're taking a break, can something else be working for me? There's a way to automate the process so that something else is working when there is a break. So Mr. Philip mentioned the sales funnel, right? If there's a sales funnel, an automated sales funnel that you can use even when there's a break, you can still be making money, especially with a fast-moving product. you can still be making money while even taking a break. I hope that helps a bit.
Can I ask something? Blessing,
Yes,
do you agree with me that a business cannot be on all platforms?
Oh, absolutely.
Because, yeah, because sometimes, again, as entrepreneurs, we just want to be on everything. Like, oh, YouTube is the next direction. Instagram is messing up now. Okay, Facebook. Now I think there's already new one. Sometimes we also understand that our business cannot be on all platforms, even if we have the resources.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you Mr. Derry said he had to move to LinkedIn at some point.
Yes.
You get to the point where you know, okay, this is my target audience. Where can I find my target audience? Is my target audience on Facebook? No. If it's on Instagram, stay on Instagram. And then, but of course, the fact that there is unpredictability with social media these days, where you can just see your page has been deactivated. So everybody wants everywhere.
And at this point, is everybody's target audience not on Instagram?
Exactly. But Instagram is like the fastest growing. Maybe after TikTok. But of course, is your target audience on TikTok. If they're on TikTok, of course, go and dance on TikTok. Go and create content on TikTok for your target audience. If not, if they're on Instagram, then you have to create content for them on Instagram. If they're on LinkedIn, then move it to LinkedIn. I definitely will not. If I'm having a B2B conversation and I want to have it on Instagram, I'm probably going to be wasting my time, right? So I go to LinkedIn to have that conversation. I know my target audience is C-suite. I know that I want to talk to CMOs, I want to talk to managing directors. Yes, then I go to LinkedIn and have that conversation instead of stay on Instagram. So it's just know which exactly works for you. 1 or 2 platforms that work for you, and then run with it. YouTube is great for everybody. That's the truth, because it is your own personal news channel. You can share what you want on that platform, and it can reach anybody, and everybody actually would find something to do on YouTube. It's a huge resource for learning, and you never know who will stumble on your video, who would actually find your video useful at any point in time. So I would actually recommend YouTube for any business. But if you're too thin, if you cannot afford to do it effortlessly with your mobile phone and an app, right, then it may just be time to keep it until you're ready, until you can afford to do it without stress. Because it's also important, sorry, one more thing, it's also important that as a business owner, you are focusing on how to make money for your business. It's very important to make money. So I usually would say, leave the marketing struggles to a marketing professional so that you can focus on what's important to your business. And that's making money.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Miss Amanda, you clear on what she said? You good?
Yes, I am clear, and I just wanted to buttress that point that we can be on every platform as business owners, so that for those who own businesses, they understand that. Yeah,
that's correct.
Dr. Derry, do you have anything to add to what's been discussed?
Yeah, I think she hit the nail on the head. Just have your tools and use it effectively. I wanted to add something to the previous question about one of the disadvantages of technology, which I think is something we don't kind of talk about enough, which is the human element. In as much as we are connected, we're less connected than ever before. And I think that emphasizes what Ms. Blessing was saying about taking a break from time to time. You go to public occasions and everyone's sat next to each other. Meanwhile, they're on their devices. And I'm wondering what happened to us just conversating here and acknowledging. So I think striking the balance is very important.
I agree 100%. Mr. Wale, you have anything else to add to that?
Do you mind if I say something?
Okay.
I actually want to respond to something Mr. Wale said. That's why I want to go before him. So he said PR is good, but there is a human angle to it. Now, the best PR stories are human angle stories. The best PR stories are impact stories. So a testimonial is an impact story. And if as a business you have not been using testimonials, then it's time to start using testimonials. And of course, your product has to be good, right? Because a lot of clients think, or a lot of business owners think, oh, okay, with PR, you can just try to make me look good. I tell people, if you have a bad product, you will not see me there because I can't waste my time on a bad product. No, honesty. If you have a bad product, I would say tweak it, make it better so that you can have a good story to tell about it. And I mean, it's a great It's a great PR story when you say, oh, we had a bad product, but we recalled it and we improved it to make it even better. Everybody wants to hear that. Everybody wants to say, vulnerability takes courage, right? But vulnerability is very endearing. So the best PR stories are human angle stories, are impact stories of how I used an iPhone. And since I used an iPhone, my life became better. Of how I ate Mr. Menz's food. And since then, my life has become better. I used to have a headache, but immediately she made food for me. I mean, I stopped having headache. And so I'm always happy to go back to her because I know that she makes the best food. I don't know what her secret ingredient is, but it is fantastic. And then it works for me, right? So it's important, again, business owners, pay attention to your success stories and amplify it. You can amplify it with social media. You can amplify it with YouTube. You can amplify it with emails. Use your mobile device. It's possible to create a full film using an iPhone or a Samsung phone or whatever phone you have. Actually, it's possible to create a full film. If at any point you need expert input on your film, then by all means ask for expert input. But where you don't have it, use what you have to create content that will resonate with your potential audience so that they can also look forward to purchasing stuff from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bessie. You just preached the gospel, and I hope a lot of businesses are hearing. If your product is good on its own, it will sell. Period. But Mr. Wale, I think you wanted to add something.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
No, go on.
Yes,
I wanted to say something to. Do you think that if there's a school of thought that if your product is good, it doesn't sell? That story of it to sell on its own, does it really work again in today's world?
It does, because trust me, I feel like people without, this is me, I'm not a panelist, but this is me. If a customer has a bad experience with your product, on their own, word of mouth is still very powerful. Even without you paying people, even without you paying people to give their testimonials or give their testimony about their experience with your product, on their own, they would recommend your product to so many other people. And that's how it will keep having its ripple effect. But over time, if you have a bad product and somebody hates on it, somebody is so angry, they tweet about it, and they have like 100 followers, and somebody in that 100 followers has 1,000 followers, and that person that's how it just goes viral. And honestly, I just feel like, to be honest, that whole thing, anybody can contradict me. If your product is good, it will sell. Period.
Why I asked that question is I have a lot of people who they're startups sometimes that tell me, but as I started my food business, I went online and genuinely they have good products and I opened the page, whatever, but I'm not selling. So I usually say sometimes to them that sometimes you don't just stop with, I have a good product, but I'm not selling as I should sell. You need to also put in some marketing efforts. You need to get in face of your customers every time. Don't just sit down and expect that because you've tasted my jollof rice today, then you go and people then go and, because sometimes people go and spread the news. Coca-Cola is a good product. Coke is still selling for many years, but Coke still spends money advertising because they consistently want to be in the face of the people who they want to buy from them. So I usually say that, okay, yes, have a good product, but also spend some money on marketing. Put yourself in front of the people that want to buy you, so that the more people know you, the more they continue to buy from you sometimes. Because the problem with many food businesses now, some of them just open shop online and expect that customers will rush them. because their product is good.
Yes. So, so Ali, so you want to say something?
Yes, thank you. So I would just like to touch on the fact that, business is a calling. It's, God has called us, to make impact in the world, and part of how we make impact is the business that we have chosen to embark on. And so if we understand our calling in business, we will do all we can to be able to get that business, to the level that God has proposed it. So, and how do you do this? You engage yourself and your workforce in continuous development, especially in this technology, because you can't, what you know yesterday, by the time you are waking up, it's changing completely. Yeah, we are talking about blockchain. As of today, eNaira has has birth, and many people may not necessarily think, think about what it can be, what it can become, or how it can impact their business, But if you embark on continuous improvement, being curious about the things that could potentially affect your business or impact your business or improve your business, you would have a great deal of insight as to how your business can be transformed over time and what exactly would be the next frontier over time. Because one of the things I've also noticed is that you set up a business and in 1 year or 2 years, it's not what you proposed it to be because of changing factors. Is it environmental, political, economical, things happen, right? And it could also be the business needs. What you think the needs are may actually change within a few months. And if you are not measuring, if you are not tracking these things, you just realize that you are left behind, and that's what I would just like to say, that we must, as business owners, embark on continuous improvement, learning, unlearning, and relearning. We do that. We need to be able to do that every time, and we can you can make sure that you give yourself a target that every month you must learn something new. Every month you must learn something new. It can be quarterly. If you are like some of us, that especially young people like us, we learn almost every day. So, and you are able to see the impact in the business. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So, if I was a business owner, I would be completely convinced with everything everyone has said. But time is fast spent. I really wish we could carry on. But I was hoping that we could just all go around and maybe give our final words on why businesses should consider digital transformation or digital adoption. Maybe we start with you, Dr. Darren. Just final words, just wrap it up, tell them why and why. Let's get on.
Okay, I would just like to advise everyone listening to accept what is happening, not fight it, to a certain extent, not even believe it, just accept what is happening. And that's the technological revolution. Mr. Wali was discussing this blockchain and eNaira that we're facing is another frontier entirely. That means digital payments. So rather than taking time to fight it or ignoring it, the attitude should always be, this is a new reality. How can I be a step ahead of it? The first people that invested in Bitcoin, even though a certain amount of risk, they are smiling to the bank now. Even though eNaira is not cryptocurrency, but just like other forms of technology, take time to understand it, read, acknowledge that this is the world we live in now, and you have to be up to date. Look at the advantages, but in the same time, focus it at your target market. Be clear about who your target market is, and most importantly, don't forget to switch off when necessary so you can connect as human beings. Thank you.
Dr. Darren, the way you talk, I'm sure you're pro crypto, but that's conversation for another day. Mr. Blessing, any final words for everyone who's listening?
Okay. It's 2021. Innovate or die. It's that simple. Like I said, I will not force you to go to adopt technology. But I know that if you do not adopt technology and adopt it very quickly, you're going to be left behind. I mean, you will see people thriving and you think it is somebody in your village that's doing you. I mean, it's a thing, my village people. You will think it's your village people when you actually saw opportunities and did not take advantage of it. Cryptocurrency, I don't understand it. That's why I have not spent my money buying crypto, right? But it's something I would love to understand. If it's something I would love to be a part of, as long as I understand it. eNaira has launched. I mean, the day it launched, I downloaded the app immediately. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't trust in Naira like that, but I've downloaded it because I cannot afford to be left behind. Right. So the world is moving very fast. It's moving very quickly. I'm sure that I don't want to believe that at the beginning of this year, so January 2021, CBN thought of eNaira. I'm not sure, right? But maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But it's November 2021, and then eNaira is here. It just goes to show that there's a lot that's possible, and you wake up each day and there's something new. And if you do not run with it quickly, you will just be left behind. So my advice, jump on the technology train ASAP and make magic work with it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Blessing, you and I are on the same, we're in the same photo. Dr. Darren, we're giving you a call.
See, let me explain this thing very. These people, you have to. In fact, I don't know why you're trying to figure out if you should understand it. It is here. It is happening now. You must understand it. Must. It is, in fact, it is not only the future, it has the ability. Someone explained it very well. And I think there was a point in time when people were using steam engines, and then industrial revolution happened and people started using they were using manual labor, and they now switched into machines. And then afterwards, they now switched to electronics. And then internet came. So the impact of those things, they changed the entire landscape, the way people thought. There were industries crashed, but at the same time, industries were built. Now, this cryptocurrency and blockchain era is the equal amount, just to show you the impact. It's not something that you should, it is happening. You have to spend time, go online. I mean, you can book a session with me and I'll break it down anyway. But it's
okay, session over, coming to learn for free.
You want me to, well, we're talking, isn't this a business day? I didn't know it was a charity affair that we're doing here. It's called business day.
I thought we built a friendship already, but anyway, Mr. Wale, final words, please.
Yeah, so I would just encourage everybody to be very open, to embrace technology, and leverage it to suit their business narrative, their business value proposition, and their business strategy, It's because technology is an enabler, is a tool that that is available to be used by everybody, including your competition. So whether you use it or not, somebody else will use it to do. I mean, we're talking about innovation. Innovation is not doing something that has not been done before. It is using what is existing to create something new entirely, and you see people adopt technology to innovate. The brick and mortar bank today, you see them, they are also playing catch up with the fintech, and you see the fintech coming up with great ideas, great minds. I remember when I was in MTN, some of the things that we thought were not possible at the time, you see, companies, fintech companies doing them and leapfrogging even what's it called now? The policies, the regulators, and at the end of the day, the regulators will play catch up and say, "Hey guys, we know you have done this. Okay, let's come and get licensed." Do you understand? So that is what technology can do for you. Now, I'll also advise that we should understand what we sell as a business. At Vendis is very clear to us. So what is obvious is not necessarily what you sell, because yes, we procure food products to hotels and restaurants and supermarkets, but what we are selling is convenience, is trust, is excellence, is consistency and sustainability. And that's what create that network effect to over 1,000 customers that we have on our platform, and they are growing, at a very great rate, So as a business, these are things that, the values that you are selling as a business, that is beyond whether you sell clothes or you sell, when you sell clothes, you are selling quality. You are selling at a price that people will buy. You are also selling convenience, because if it's not comfortable for them, if it's not convenient for them to get your product, then they will move to the next person that can deliver that convenience. And you can leverage technology for all these things. You are also selling sustainability. How are you able to sustain it? So if somebody, for instance, now, if Jared wants to buy clothes from her favorite boutique store, and every time she knocks on the boutique store, whether on WhatsApp or by going physically to the store, and her size is not always available, what do you think she will do? She will move on to, so, and you can leverage, there are ways you can even leverage technology to do that. For instance, how do you know that your stock has dipped, that you need to restock the size that she would buy? How do you know that? How do you understand that she would buy at this time? Christmas is coming. What are the kind of clothes that you need to stock? You need to restock for Christmas. Easter is coming. What are the clothes that you need to restock for Easter? Same for food business. Christmas is coming now. Nothing should catch you unawares, because data speaks every time. You see, that there will be influx of people from all over the world to Lagos and every part of Lagos, and what are you going to do? People will need to eat. They will go to favorite joint, sports, restaurants, hotels. And so how are you prepared for that change that is going to happen? So that's just what I would say. So convenience, know that you are selling beyond what is obvious to people as far as your business is concerned. You are selling convenience, you are selling trust, you are selling excellence, consistency, and sustainability. And so you must be open to how technology can impact and can help you to deliver this value. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And finally, Mr. Menze, do you have your final words? Mr. Menze?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, your final words, please.
For me, I would say to the entrepreneurs listening that your business is like a seed that has been given to you. Technology helps you take that seed far across different borders, different nations. It helps to magnify whatever it is that you have in you to reach more people. So embrace it. It allows you make bigger impacts than you would have if you limited yourself to your immediate locality. Secondly, as much as we embrace technology, I would also say we should also be patient with ourselves. One of the things that technology has done is it has also put pressure on entrepreneurs when they see how other businesses are growing so fast. They tend to feel like they're not doing well. They start to compare themselves to other people. Do not also let that negative part of technology hinder you or discourage you from your journey. In all, embrace technology. Everybody has said embrace technology. It's a tool that is existing, or the tool that God has given to mankind for us to share our gifts through our businesses to the world. That's it for me.
All right, thank you so much. So basically, pace yourself. To everyone listening, pace yourself. Follow up on trends. Go acknowledge that the world is moving forward and go along with it, but do that in a consistent and in a timely manner. Embrace technology, and I think success is bound to happen for everyone. You guys, thank you so much for taking the time. I mean, I know I learned a lot. When I want to start my own business, I probably will call it of you again and have conversations personally. But that aside, this was amazing, and I hope that a lot of businesses that are present have also gotten as much as they can from this. At netplus.com, we are a technology company as well, and we offer payment services to merchants, businesses, and all that. And we have this new product called NetPlus Mini. I think someone is in the background who wants to play a quick 1-minute video for us to watch. So we have a few words from Business Day. Linda, hi, how are you doing?
Hi, Gerald. Thank you so much for having the session. Thank you to all the panelists, Darren, Blessing, Ameze, and Oyewole. We really want to thank you for making our time to teach others today. My name is Linda. I work as the head of digital sales for Business Day, and every month we work with NetPlus to make this happen, just trying to see how we can teach and empower small businesses to be better. And we strongly believe that you can't do it without having your business online and without digital. So digital transformation is the way forward. And we've been teaching them for the past 1 year, every month, things that they can do. And I've learned a lot today. I want to thank all the speakers, really. I've learned the fact that you really can't do it by yourself. You can't do it alone, and you cannot be on all platforms. So understanding the product that you have and the service that you're offering, and then you also as the owner of the business and what you want to say and do, you now need to choose the platforms that really work well, that can help you kind of target the people you need. And there is something, it's not really about the numbers. Yeah, before I used to think about having 1 million followers and then nothing in your pockets. It doesn't really help. As Nigerians say, who will help? So it's about the money. Like, are you running a successful, profitable business? Are you making revenue and sales, or you're just struggling to survive and everybody just looks at you and thinks you're good? So if you need help, you can always contact the speakers. You can contact NetPlus for Business. They send us a message on social media, or you can send me an email, linda@businessday.ng. You'll be more than willing to help. But before we go, we want to talk about something that we're doing for SME. We have an event, a big event next month. It's going to be called Nigerian Enterprise Awards. It used to be called SME 100. We try to reward and encourage SMEs that have been doing well and that are growing really fast, just to encourage them to say, we see what you are doing. We're going to put up the adverts on social media and on the website, so you can register if you want to register as an SME, or if you do want to sponsor or partner with us in the event. It promises to be really interesting this year, again, bringing SMEs across Nigeria and even some outside, the country. And always would plead that you do subscribe to Business Day. We need more subscribers to also remain in business and bring you nice contents and research work that you can read. It's never complete without you. So make sure you also subscribe to the platform, and then you can read and see all that we do. On that note, I want to say thank you once again to all the panelists, to the people listening, to speakers, to NetPlus, and of course to Business Day for making this happen. Do have a very lovely afternoon.
Thank you, Linda. So that brings us to the end of the segment, or the end of this session. I am really, really personally grateful, and I'm sure on behalf of the CEO of NetPlus as well, he's very grateful for you all taking the time to be here and engage with us. Linda has covered everything that needs to be said. But just one last thing, if you are interested in getting any of the NetPlus devices, please visit netplus.com.ng, and we'll process that immediately for you. Thank you all again so much. The speakers, you guys were amazing. I learned a lot, and hopefully if we call you again soon, you would answer us. We are so grateful for the time here. And listen, I'm giving you that cooperation. So anyway, that brings us to the end, and yeah, I hope that we have a good, amazing rest of the day. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.